Hey everyone, it's Dr. K. There's a lot of evidence out there that shows prolonged sitting can be associated with musculoskeletal disorders. That's a problem because most Western societies have a growing problem with sedentary behavior, which basically means we're not moving enough. So when you're doing things for prolonged periods of time, like sitting in your chair, office work, driving in your car, or even just screen time on your own, you basically have decreased muscle activity in your back. That leads to muscle stiffness, that leads to fatigue, and at worst, it actually presents itself as pain. So there's new research coming out post-COVID that shows that we actually have an increased sedentary behavior because now people are actually working from home too. So with prolonged sitting, it's actually considered an independent risk factor for health. So that can lead to increased risk of developing chronic metabolic disease or cardiovascular disease. So what we're talking about is prolonged sitting is a risk factor for the chance of you dying from those diseases. It's an increased chance for mortality. So, with prolonged sitting, we basically see two types of compensations. First compensation is we start to get tired and fatigued and we start to slump forward. That creates basically an excess of posterior tilt in your pelvis, and it actually straightens up the normal lumbar spine curve. Now, the opposite is whenever we overcompensate trying to sit back in our chair, and all of a sudden, we're basically increasing, the anterior pelvic tilt of our pelvis, and we're starting to create, increased mechanical load on the normal curve. So this affects, your pelvis, the muscles around your pelvis, and increases the stress on the curve in your low back. So if you do prolonged sitting at your job or with your commute and at home, that stuff adds up to 10 plus hours a day. What do you think that it's actually doing to your runs or whenever you're training in the gym? So, posture itself is a very dynamic and it's a fluid thing. We all have our own kind of quirks. But the question is, what kind of stress do you put on your body throughout the day, and what kind of ranges of motion do you need to start to reintroduce so that you can promote good mobility? So using that framework, you should start thinking about, what your positioning is and how you can start to introduce regular muscle contraction to benefit and prevent those effects. So it's easy to get lost in productivity. What I would recommend is setting a reminder every 20 to 30 minutes, just to do something simple like getting out of your chair. So you're gonna stretch your legs out, you're gonna squeeze and contract your glutes to help reset your pelvis. You're gonna introduce some rotation in your spine. And then basically you can sit back down to, get back to work, and it takes all of like 10 seconds for you to do. You can ask your company to invest in a transition station for your desk, or just buy one for yourself. Models are really affordable now compared to when they first came out. And basically if your company won't buy one for you, buy one for yourself. You're your own best patient advocate. You're your own best investment. So by developing a mindset to just promote consistent muscle activity throughout the day, we can prevent the biomechanical stresses that add up long term. And this promotes better performance with the things we actually love spending our time doing, like running, biking, exercising. So remember, all the pieces matter, and you need to ask yourself, what's the quality of your life going to be at 90? I hope this has been helpful for you, but if you have questions or comments, just shoot me a text or email. So let me know how that works for you. Stay strong, inspire others.